When news of the lawsuit became public and appeared in the newspapers, several people came forward with evidence of corruption within the SUNY administration. The first was Will Paisano, the alum that SUNY had placed on the Judicial Committee. Paisano came forward with a series of recordings between himself and the other members of the committee, Paul Zuckerman and Jonathan Raskin. Despite a requirement in the campus judicial procedure that the committee meet as a group to discuss the finding, these conversations are all the deliberation that occurred. The three members of the committee never discussed the case together.
You want to go first, or you want to hear from us?
I'll hear what you have to say first.
Well, I don't know if that's a good idea, because it's the two of us. You know, we've already had our little meeting that went on for over an hour.
Okay.
All 91 minutes of the Zuckerman-Raskin tapes are now on public record. We'll examine some of the most important and amusing parts.
But if you look at the tape, and if you listen to what they said, at one point, at some point or another, every one of them is shouting at her.
Remember the video? Nobody was shouting at Karina.
And one of them tells her to shut up. And then they introduced this email, which they had sent her earlier, which, you know, it's their evidence that this accusation of what I'll call felonious behavior is not new, and it was repeated in the hallway, you know. And what they're saying to me is, well, you know, she did this, she did that. We even told her this before. Well, the fact that you told her to her before, and now you told it to her again, that serves no useful purpose. That alone is harassment, even if you say it politely, which they clearly didn't do. So based on the testimony that they gave me about their own behavior, I have to find them guilty of harassment. See, and you accuse an employee of a felony, and you do it in writing, and then you do it again in person in the front of other people. I mean, based on your own testimony, you're harassing.
Yeah.
And didn't they tell us that they accused her of, well, you know, I made my point.
So taking a look at the video, it does seem to me that the witnesses for the petitioner really did do their best to exaggerate, and they kind of tried to make the incident seem worse than it really is, and I really believe that.
Okay. You mean the two witnesses for Karina?
Right, as well as Karina herself. It seems like she, you know, embellished a little bit, exaggerated, and, you know, taking a look at the language she used in her her deposition too, it seems as though there's this tendency with her to try to exaggerate what was going on.
Right. No, and you know, and I got to tell you, Jonathan and I spoke about that, and there's no doubt that she, for whatever reason, and her own agenda, overreacted to this whole thing, and whereas you or I might not have even, you know, might have blown it off, I might not even bother to file a complaint.
Right,
and fuck you and walk away. You know, that may well be.
Did he just admit that a SUNY administrator pressed charges against a student because of her own agenda?
I thought about the case, and I looked over my notes, and it seems to me pretty clear that that what happened was a very brief and minor incident, and that a lot of the evidence was rather tenuous and doesn't really convince me. Now, yesterday we were talking about Dan Curtis in particular. What do you think was the case against him, and, you know, what do you think about him?
Okay, let me start at the beginning, because I got to write this thing.
Okay.
I want to just figure out what, if any, part of this you can sign on to, and what part of it you can't sign on to. Right?
Okay.
Let me try it my way.
Notice that Zuckerman seems to have no interest in explaining himself to Will or hearing Will's thoughts. He and Raskin have already made the decision and now simply want to know if Will is on board. From the Judicial Procedure, Section D2F. The judicial body shall seclude themselves and confer as to each item of specification of charges, and they shall decide as a body whether each item of the specification of charges has been established by clear and convincing evidence.
Let me try it my way. So, something happened. There was at least a conversation in the hall, right?
Right.
Okay. And in the course of the conversation, one or more of those persons accused Karina of interfering with the election.
Yes.
At least they reiterated that at the hearing. They said that's what they talked about.
Yes, that
when
was
they
mentioned.
spoke to her.
I can
Okay.
say for a fact that was mentioned during this encounter.
Okay, that was mentioned by one of the three of them.
One of them, yes.
At least one of them. All right, one of them. And this was after the election.
Yes.
Okay, so, and at the end of the conversation, Karina was upset.
Yes.
Okay, now she could have been upset because what they told her was the truth.
Yes,
right?
and
so she's upset. Right?
and I think that what really swings me here is that taking a look at the video and seeing her comportment at the time, she didn't look like someone who was just traumatized by a bunch of students. She looked like someone who was pissed off, quite frankly.
Right, who was angry.
Yeah, she was angry, and the door slammed, and that wasn't a slam of "oh my God," that was a slam of "fuck you."
Okay, but but here's what the statute says. The statute says serves no useful purpose and the noise.
Well, does it serve no useful purpose if students in the hallway have some concerns and they bring it to the attention of this woman and it pisses her off? Is that no legitimate purpose? I think that students should be able to talk to staff members, especially a staff member like this. Well,
rudely? Say shut up?
Say shut up in that tone, I believe, is borderline. I believe saying shut up in the tone that was shown on the video is definitely borderline as to, being unacceptable. But is it enough to say that you actually harassed someone for that? No, he wasn't screaming, shut the fuck up in her face like one of the witnesses would like us to believe.
Let's hear the shut up one more time, just so we're all on the same page.
Let's get out of here. Karina, shut up.
The fair thing to do.
As previously mentioned, the students had criticized Zuckerman's involvement at a CAS board meeting. Will did not realize this at the time. His only interaction with the committee had been with Zuckerman, who relayed Raskin's decision. Let's switch to some of Will's conversations with Raskin, which happened only after he complained to Zuckerman.
They posted her depositions, her emails, the emails they sent to her. They posted all of this on the internet, on Wikipedia.
Oh, really?
They posted it all. So the email that they sent to her saying, you've broken the law and we're going to contact our lawyers, that's all posted on Wikipedia.
Oh, really? And this was there before the hearing even? They had all this up?
It was there. They posted it supposedly. We don't know if it's accurate, but they supposedly posted it on May 20, a few days after the incident.
Oh, really?
Did
you see it before the hearing or
no,
after?
After the hearing, when we went yesterday to consult about this, they had sent an email, Justin had sent an email to Linda saying, here's additional information you might want to see, and it directed us to that website. And it showed, they took that deposition that she gave and they posted it on Wikipulps.
Oh, okay.
They took the email they sent her saying, we think you've broken the law, and they posted it on Wikipulps.
Oh, that's interesting. I guess my question
all of that
is...
isn't designed to intimidate and harass her. I don't know what it is.
He doesn't know what it is?
I don't know what it is.
To put it plainly, it's an attempt to hold a public official accountable. She used her state-employed staff to campaign in a student election and subsequently tried to cover it up by pressing false charges against students.
I don't know what it is.
A plea from students of the information age who don't want to sit quietly while technology is used only to stifle and repress.
I don't know what it is.
Instead, technology could be used by the people to discover and make public actions of government which are contrary to the needs of the people it is supposed to serve, as is the case here. Could this be the entire problem? Could it be a case of power holders and brokers simply not seeing the rapidly growing movement of peaceful but judicial procedure, Section D1F? The decision of the judicial body shall be made only on the basis of matters presented at the hearing. What you have just heard is only a small segment of the Zuckerman-Raskin tapes. The full recordings are a must-listen for everyone interested in learning